As you drive through northern Kentucky, you're greeted with a beautiful and dramatic skyline of Cincinnati, Ohio. Hey everyone, it's Cashew. Today's adventure brings us all over town. Thought I'd take you on a road trip. Today is Saturday, April 18th. And the only reason I knew that is because I checked my phone. I'm about 3 or 4 weeks into quarantine, like many of you are. And all the days start to blend together. All I know is every day is today. And I guess it always is, but let's not go all Plato here, okay? I thought what I'd do is take you to my top 10 places I think you might want to check out if you come to Cincinnati and visit. So let's go take a look. Our adventure starts here.
Number 10, Sugar and Spice.
While you're in Cincinnati, you should definitely go have breakfast or lunch, or even both, at the Sugar and Spice restaurant. It's quirky, it's fun, has good food, and you get a little tiny rubber duck when you leave. I've already filmed a review of this restaurant a while back, and I'll have a link to it down below.
Number 9, Spring Grove Cemetery.
I know you'll think I'm crazy for suggesting this place, but you should also check out Spring Grove Cemetery. It has beautiful architecture, history, wonderful landscaping. Plus, if you've seen any of my vlogs, you'll understand why I suggest this place. Unfortunately, because of all this mess, the cemetery is temporarily closed to visitors.
Number 8, Union Terminal.
If you enjoy museums, the Museum Center at Cincinnati Union Terminal is the place to go. They have something for kids and adults. They have the Cincinnati History Museum, the Natural History Museum, and the Children's Museum. And it looks like the Hall of Justice from the Super Friends.
Number 7, Hofbrauhaus.
While you're in Cincinnati, you should cross the river to northern Kentucky and check out the Hofbrauhaus. It has excellent German food, and some of you may not know this, but Cincinnati has strong German roots, and this would be a great way to top off the evening. There are not many Hofbrauhauses in the U.S., and the ones that are here are governed by the Hofbrauhaus in Munich, Germany. That's their beer garden.
Number 6, the Cincinnati Art Museum.
If you enjoy art, the Cincinnati Art Museum is the place to visit. They have works by Van Gogh, El Greco, Monet, among others. And this area with the domed roof and the skylight is their 3rd floor, and it holds their contemporary collection. And it used to be the studio of Frank Duveneck and Clement Barnhorn. Pinocchio says, there's a lot to see in Cincinnati, and would he lie to you? And as you exit the museum, you get a beautiful view of the city.
Number 5, Skyline Chili.
And speaking of skylines, be sure to try some Cincinnati chili while you're here. I prefer Skyline, and I know others prefer Gold Star, but to me, true Cincinnati chili is Skyline Chili.
Number 4, Krohn Conservatory.
Another place I would recommend is the Krohn Conservatory. If you like flowers, this is definitely the place to visit. And I would recommend you come here around Christmas time because they have a manger complete with live animals. And then you could go up to the Playhouse in the park and see a production of A Christmas Carol.
Number 3, Loveland Castle.
Though the Loveland Castle is off the beaten path, it's well worth the trip. This was built and designed by one man, although he did have help building it. And it's rather surreal driving through suburbs down a hill and seeing this castle along the Little Miami River. And this is one of those places where you absolutely have to go and see it for yourself. The inside of this castle is phenomenal.
Number 2, Jungle Gyms.
No trip to Cincinnati would be complete without visiting Jungle Gyms. Come here and fill your cart full of foreign snacks and drinks. Now there are 2 locations, and if you can make it to both, that's great. But if you can only go to one, I recommend you come to this one in Fairfield. It's the original.
And number 1, the American Sign Museum.
Another place that should definitely be on your list of places to go is the American Sign Museum. It's quirky, it has history, and it's fun.
And now, some honorable mentions. Rookwood Pottery.
And even though they're no longer in business, you should still stop by and take a look at this building. This used to be the Rookwood Pottery, and from 1880 until 1967, they created museum-quality ceramics. Later, it became a restaurant, and sadly, it's closed now. Oh, and take a look at the rooks on the stained glass windows. I hope those don't get destroyed. And from the Rookwood Pottery's parking lot, you get a really beautiful view of the city. I don't know if you can tell or not, but in the distance is Union Terminal.
The Party Source.
And while you're in Northern Kentucky, stop at the Party Source. It's an employee-owned business, and they have something for everyone. They have a large selection of soft drinks for the kids, and they have a wide variety of imported beer, wine, and spirits. And while you're at the Party Source, be sure to take a tour of New Riff's Distillery. They make wonderful bourbon. And as you can see, the Party Source is not that far from downtown Cincinnati.
Lunken Airport.
Some of you may be wondering why I'm suggesting Lunken Airport as a place to visit when in Cincinnati, but this has a little bit of something for everyone. Its Art Deco architecture is really beautiful inside and out, and they have murals inside. And you can visit their museum. It's a one-room museum, but it's really informative, and the curator there is great. And then when you're done, you can go to the Sky Galley and have some lunch and watch the airplanes take off and land. Like this one. Another great thing about Lunken Airport is that after you have your meal, you could ride your bike or go for a walk. They have outstanding bike trails. And here's a map of their trails.
Cincinnati Playhouse in the Park.
And if you enjoy the theater, Cincinnati's Playhouse in the Park is an excellent place to visit. It's just a short walk from Cincinnati Art Museum, and every Christmas they do a wonderful version of A Christmas Carol. Well, wasn't that fun? And thanks for not throwing up in the car. You know, I wasn't sure what my top 10 places would be. I had to think about it because, you know, people have different tastes. And if I did not put something on this list that you thought I should have, then tell me in the comment section. Where would you go if you came to Cincinnati? Or if you live in Cincinnati, what's one or two places you think people should come and visit? If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. In the description box down below, I'll have links to my Teespring and my Patreon and my PayPal. And speaking of Patreon, I want to give a huge shout out to Saxy Matt for becoming my newest Patreon. So until next time, everyone, this is Cashew signing off. And from the Rookwoods parking lot, you get a beautiful view of downtown Cincinnati. The two buildings in the foreground are P&G's headquarters. The building to the left is the Crown building, and the tall building over to the right is Carew Tower. Looking toward northern Kentucky, you see the Big Mac Bridge, and it's called the Big Mac Bridge because it looks like McDonald's Golden Arches. And off to the right is the Purple People Bridge, and that's a pedestrian bridge.